Flight bus, bitch, you know, for sure. You're now listening to the Mind of Planetary's Moon. I'm the Archangel Uriel, and I'm here to carry out God's duties and motherfucking responsibilities. And right now we're getting into the weekly astrology reading. You know what I'm saying? I meant to do it last week because I wanted to jump on it, but you know, we had a full moon that just appeared to happen a couple of days ago. We had a full moon in my moon sign, so I didn't necessarily feel like doing that. So actually, what I actually felt like doing is actually what I put into actions. So yeah, I didn't actually feel like doing it. It was a bunch of other shit going on. So the things that I had the necessary energy to do is the things I put full force into doing. You know what I'm saying? Which this is always my first priority. But see, the thing is, anytime you have a moon conjunct or transit your moon, anytime you have the moon transit your moon, you're going to be dealing with your own inside awarenesses, and you're gonna get up feeling a lot like the things that you emotionally feel that be beneath the surface actually be above the surface when the moon, it be above the surface when the moon transit your moon. So things that you felt that was beneath the surface inside you reached above the surface. So things I always kind of felt but never acted on was acted on. Like I even woke up one day feeling like, damn, I don't even want to put no energy in things I was putting energy in before. A person gonna have to show me like certain energy I was giving towards other people that I didn't care about the receiving back. I cared more about the receiving in. When the moon was transiting my moon, and plus by it being a full moon, everything, all the seeds that I planted of things that I told myself I was going to start doing, or things I told myself I was going to start not doing, all them seeds that was planted before. When the full moon came, it actually start to grow. So what happens was, when the little stems start to break up out of the dirt or the soil of the things I planted, if I wasn't practicing what I was preaching, I was gonna see how fucked up that fruition of the plant go. And then if I was practicing what I was preaching of all the seeds that I was planting before the full moon, then I was gonna see how good and how strong that plant was. See, now right here I had a lot of contracts. Some plants and some stems didn't grow the way I wanted it to grow, so I went ahead and threw that pot to the side, and then some did grow the way I wanted it to grow, and a lot of these things was things I forgot I planted. That's how I usually work too. Like, don't ever think, for an example, before we get into the reading, you know how you got them the mechanisms in the mind that, okay, we all know we're manifesting, right? We're manifesting, well, at least my soul group, we're manifesting every day, right? But you ever had that situation where it's like, okay, you did one thing and you manifested and received prosperity from it, right? And you're sitting here trying to figure out what happened. Like, what exact feeling was you in that made the manifestation successful? That made you complete the manifestation. And what I'm here to tell you is, that's a wrong science. That's a wrong dialogue to get into, because 9 times out of 10, when you manifest something, when you're starting to receive it, your body and mind is oblivious to the reasoning that sparked it initially for that manifestation to come into fruition. So I don't want people to strain their minds. Don't ever strain your brain and your mind on doing things on this earth that it's not supposed to do. Like, I got a video for that. You know what I'm saying? Like, when you sit here and use your mind and your brain for things like telling the future, or things that you should do and shouldn't do, well, basically telling the future and going off of yin shit, like as far as faith and shit like that, you're going to stress yourself out. The brain, the mind is not here to do that. The brain is only here to analyze what's already here. It's not here to analyze what's to come, because it don't know. So to sit here and speculate like you do, you're doing yourself a disjustice. So I'm gonna let you know that. And the whole reason that I'm tying this all in together right now is because when we talk about the planets right now, the sun is just getting out of Gemini. Let me go ahead and pull up the planets right now, because I mean I did my 360 today. I know where's it at. I know the sun just went in. We 3 days into Gemini, so I'm pretty sure the Gemini should be 3 degrees. You know what I'm saying? The sun and all that, and then I'm pretty sure Mercury went in direct. I felt that. You know what I'm saying? It went direct, and I think Taurus. You know what I'm saying? The moon should no longer be inside. Now I'm saying all this because I want y'all to know I'm for real when I do a 360. I'm finna get on my phone and go to astrotheme.com just to look at the planets and look at the degrees. But I'm not reading no description about it. I'm not reading no nothing. I'm analyzing it by itself. But right now I'm just giving proof right now. I'm telling y'all I already know where the planet's at. I can sit here and talk about it without the phone, but I just like to do that. I'm pulling it up right now. And just to show y'all, alright, just to show y'all, it's just on the planets. It's not on the description of the planets. It's just the planets. I don't want people to be thinking, oh, this guy be sitting here reading. Said, no, I freestyle. All I gotta do is see where the sun at, see where the moon at, and I'll go through a whole. That'll be one video for a weekly astrology reading. But I want to scrunch them all into one, because I don't want to have a video with just the sun where it's at now, where the Mercury at right now, because I can do that. It'd be hour-long videos just based upon one planet, let alone we talk about all the angles and shit like that. So let's get into it. You know what I'm saying? Oh yeah, 3 degrees Gemini. So right now, it's conjunct my Venus. You know, I like to put it in real time by comparing the planets to myself, so y'all can get a better understanding. You know what I'm saying? Right now, it's conjunct my Venus. My Venus is 2 degrees Gemini, so it's cuspy. It just slid out the cusp. A cusp is a 5-degree orb. A cusp can only be a 5-degree orb. It's the 0 degree, which if you had a negative and positive meter, that 0 degree will be the in between, the split between the two. So 0 degrees of any sign is an in-between, is a start, it's a beginning. One thing I want to talk about time with Saturn and the moon be illusionizing for y'all. A lot of times you're living as the second coming. Like, you ever heard of religion and stuff like that? They say the second coming is not going to be the real Messiah, it's not going to be like that. You are that as a human race. Let me remind you, what time do you go by? What's the first initial time you go by? Seconds. What do seconds mean? Second. That means it ain't first. So they trying to make you as the beings that was here second. You wasn't here first. You know what I'm saying? Which there's truth to that, but there's falseness to that also. Because you could be here second, but you still are the cause. You're not the effect. You're still the cause. So if you living out the effect every day, which is second, you living second every day. You're living second to second. You can't even count the first second, because you don't even know where the fuck that start at. You living secondly every day. You're second to everything. That means you're second to all energies. You're second to all perceptions. And the people who are first are controlling this shit. And you need to understand that there's beings that look just like you, that have a better understanding and knowledge and wisdom amongst it, to be able to control it and steer it in ways to control certain amount, a majority and minority of beings. So you need to understand that. Every day you wake up, I'm living in seconds, because it took a certain amount of seconds for me to set everything up. But my initial cause was always first, and that come from the yin realm, that come from the inside realm. And more people need to cling on to that, because the more and more you unbalanced, and you could be too far in the yin realm, but we have the majority of the world that's too far in the yang realm. And they're living on the second base, to the point that they're coming second to everything. They need some money or something like that, then they have to be the second to obtain it. You're not creating a job, you're going to get a job. That's seconds. You're getting seconds. You know what I'm saying? And right here, well, I don't want seconds. I don't want no motherfucking seconds. I don't want your sloppy seconds. But yeah, we're going to analyze all that, because right here, Gemini also is in the sun. The sun is the most powerful orb in our 360 orb, in our sphere of reality, which is our circle, which is our, like I said, okay, a 5-degree orb. It can only be a 5-degree orb with a cusp. That's the 0 degree, then 1, 2 on this side, then 1, 2 on that side. If it's 3 degrees, you're in that sign. Now, the first 2 degrees, you're going to be completely that sign, just carrying a lot of karma from the previous sign. You know what I'm saying? So, like I said, the 0 is in between the cusp, and it can only be a 5-degree orb. So 0, that's 1, not second. 0, then 1, 2 on that side, 1, 2 on that side. So you either a cusp of the previous or a cusp of the future sign. But once you reach once you reach 27 degrees in that sign or 3 degrees in that sign, then it's no longer a cusp, because the sun itself as an energy orb will cover if it's on a 0 degrees, it will cover 5-degree orb itself for it to be a cusp. Now, what is the reason why I'm saying that? The reason why I'm saying that is because the sun conjuncts my Venus, but my Venus is a cusp, but the sun is not necessarily a cusp. But as a whole, as the energy itself is in the constellation of Hades. Gemini, I say from 28 degrees Taurus to about 7 or 6 degrees Gemini, that's Hades. That's the star system, not constellation, but the star system Hades. And the star system is in between, is on the cusp of Taurus and Gemini. And what was hell represented by on physical forms? Brimstone. What is brimstone? What is stone? Stone is an earth quality. Now, fire. Fire is electricity esoterically. But see, for the fire to stay burning, it needs what? Air. Some form of oxygen, some form of air, some form of wind blowing. So that lets you know that they're trying to represent hell as a form of a lot of wind blowing and a lot of hot or fire or brimstone. So there's letting you know there's an earth and air quality to hell. Now, hell in a religious form doesn't make sense, and it doesn't exist, but it can exist within you. Now, what I'm saying, Hades as a star system, which a star system is a group of stars, and a star constellation is a group of stars that forms a 30 degree within our circumference, or any amount of degree. As long as all the stars spread out, that's the degree. On each end is the degree it takes up. Now, Hades falls between the group of stars of Hades, which is a star system, falls in between the star system and the star constellation of Taurus and Gemini. Now, what does this mean? Now, Hades, it doesn't mean anything bad or good. What it means is bringing light to unwarranted situations. Basically, like, okay, say Taurus, right? It's Earth. Now, the end of Taurus, say it was an earthquake, right? The winds were so high, and it created tides and stuff. It shook up the earth and created an earthquake, right? Now, within the earthquake, you see cracks and shit like that through the ground, through the floor. You could absolutely fall through the floor. Okay, now, you're seeing things you didn't necessarily see before. See, when the ground was intact, you didn't know it was under the ground. You didn't know it was under the sewers. You didn't know when the ground split apart and had this amount of dirt over here, this amount. So, you're seeing, it's bringing light to situations that's unseen. So that's a form of hell. That's a form of being in Hades, because when you was in the dark in a certain situation, now there's situations that's blowing all that stuff off the way for you can see it. See, you ever seen a ground that was so dusty, the wind start to blow, and now you can see how pretty that ground look? That's basically like a esoteric hell, Hades. So the star system, Hades, that's the energy is bringing amongst the earth right now, because the sun is in 3 degrees Gemini, so it's shedding light and is bringing into actions Hades type traits. So a lot of things are coming to the light. People you thought liked you, you're realizing they don't like you now. People you didn't even know liked you, you're realizing they like you now. People you didn't know watched you, you know that they're watching you now. People you didn't even know that you even cared about, now you find yourself caring about. You know what I'm saying? Situations that you thought was one way are a whole nother way now. So that's the kind of and when we break it down see, because I be so in my realm and so metaphysically. Let me break it down back on Earth for y'all. Let me just break it down. Okay, Gemini. What's the Gemini archetype? It's to communicate, but it's to communicate within the self, and it's the energy within the lungs that travel the nerves that make you want to move your hands and use your hands, and it's moved by Mercury, so it's the direct intellect of how your brain works. So right now people are communicating. That's highlighted. Communication is highlighted. Air. Communicating thoughts and perceptions that you've seen within yourself and getting the proper details of it before you can express it to someone else. Right? Right. Now, it just slid up out of Taurus, where everybody wanted to find their value system. Everybody wanted to know how much they're valued, how much they're worth, how what they have to offer to themselves before they go off giving themselves to others. Right? Now that is being communicated. So however reserved or conservative you was when the sun was in Taurus, now you're more than willing to express how you felt in them times when the sun was just in Taurus and now the sun is in Gemini. You're more than willing to communicate what you was feeling, communicate what you thought. So you're bringing what was in the dark to the light, which is another form of Hades. You know what I'm saying? So all this metaphysically and in the regular realm, all this shit works. You know what I'm saying? Now, Mercury is going direct, and it's also going direct in Taurus. Let's see how many degrees. Oh, come on, fucking phone. Okay, okay. The moon in 5 degrees Capricorn, so it's already trined up. You know what I'm saying? So it's trined up with Mercury. So what happens here is the way people feel, their emotional state. I'm just spitting out the mouth. I just brushed my teeth. I'm sorry, y'all. But you know, the way people emotionally feel are going to be communicated and analyzed right now, like highly analyzed. You know what I'm saying? And it's going to be communicated in a very practical but smart way. Not it ain't going to have too much common sense like it had maybe last week. This week is going to be a little bit more of just giving out thoughts and stuff, but the thoughts is going to make you think. Instead of you making common sense out of it and it's just like, okay, I got it now, next subject. Conversations now is going to be more like analytical. It's going to be more about you actually just putting an idea out there and having something to think about for the next few hours and the next few days. So that's what more about this energy is going on with the Gemini and Taurus energy. And then when you got Mercury going direct, you know what I'm saying? Everybody looked on what they didn't value about themselves before, what they didn't value in others before, and now they're coming to a point where now you could move on your thought processes and leave behind whoever you was thinking about, or leave behind whatever situation you was thinking about, and start to apply that to the new situation now. You know what I'm saying? And start to analyze things like that. Now when we get to like I said, the moon is in Capricorn. The moon actually is debilitated here. So the moon is at work. So just your emotional awareness and the way how you feel emotionally, period, maybe stifled a little bit. Maybe like situations may occur where it's going to force you to feel certain ways about things that you don't necessarily feel like even feeling about right now. Like you may just have a person that's around you that, okay, you like this person and you like being around this person, but certain things about them may just pop up and irk you more than it irked you before. You know what I'm saying? And make you have to feel a certain way about that now. Now you predicate it on that one little instant where that person could have been positive all day, but that one little negative thing just overpowered all the positivity that person had all day, and you can't get your mind past that one thing because you know you disliked it that. Any other day you could take the more good with the bad. Now with the moon in Capricorn, it's making the moon do things it don't want to do. It's in an environment that it has to use what it has to use. It has to use its tools, just in an environment that it doesn't want to do it doesn't want to go to every day. That's like when you go to work. When you say you're the moon and you go to work, that's a place you don't want to be. But when you get there, you deal with it. I mean, it's not to say it's all bad. It's good things that happen at work also. You get a raise. If you work at a restaurant, somebody might come who got a lot of prosperity in your city and may just pay everybody meal in the lobby, and then everybody who worked there get a piece of the top end. Once everybody in the lobby food is paid for, you know what I'm saying? Everybody get $15-$20. So you know what I'm saying? Some little shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not all bad. It's not a bad or good thing in anything. But I'm just telling you the energy that it's going to carry. It's going to, and since it's the moon that's falling and the energy that's going on right now, which is debilitated, not falling, is at work. What happens here is just like, yo, you're going to be emotionally feeling things that you don't really feel like necessarily emotionally feeling at certain times, but you got to deal with it. You know what I'm saying? You got to deal with it. You got to go ahead and get it done until you can go home from work. You know what I'm saying? That's basically with the Capricorn. And then the Capricorn archetype itself is reserved, it's practical, and it's connected. It's about the status quo, but it's more connected to how can I initiate something for myself to reach a status quo. You know what I'm saying? Like, how can I do something that I can do to be known for, other than doing something that others do to be good for? That's more like Virgo. Virgo like to help and want to apply itself to the point that it gets into a situation that it can carry out its own duties and obligations. Capricorn isn't going to feel comfortable unless it can create something itself to feel that type of receiving nature. So when you got a receiving sign like Capricorn and a receiving planet like the moon, what happens here is Capricorn wants to receive recognition, but the moon isn't necessarily concerned with having recognition. The moon is more concerned about having your emotions intact. So when a Capricorn want to receive recognition or something like that, and then the moon is here, it's going to put you in situations where it's going to be like, wait, once you understand what's going on first, and understand that this is not a field that you're going to receive recognition in, and then get yourself emotionally straight first to the point that you don't need recognition and you already know what you're good at and what you're not good at, and what your values is and what your values be good at. You should already know these things. And that's what the moon teaches. That's what the moon teaches Capricorn. Because a lot of times Capricorn, just the Capricorn archetype itself ties a lot of material, or ties a lot of material examples in order to overcompensate for what they lack, which is sometimes ego, or sometimes they lack confidence in the metaphysic realm. These could be the most confident people you know personally, but anytime somebody overly does something, it's because they overly lack something. And when a person, that's like Leos, Capricorns and Leos share this as a quincunx. They don't understand the way they do it. Like Leos may do it in a spontaneous, fiery, spiritual type of way, where Capricorns may do it in a reserved, common sense, practical way. But the thing is a misunderstanding, because it's a quincunx, but what they're actually both wanting is recognition. And with the moon being in Capricorn, see, it's going to show you that you need to recognize yourself. You may not need others to give you recognition. You may not need things and possessions in order to overcompensate the way others may see you or the way others may value. You have to learn this for yourself first. Then once you can learn this for yourself, you know how to give it to others. This is another reason why Capricorns may be so cold sometimes. They can't stay in a relationship, and they think and they don't understand why their mate is leaving, because they start to feel